Hey everybody, welcome back to the Young Adults Guide to Podcast, Episode 4. I'm one of your hosts, Clayton Hamrick, and joining us, as always, Sid Warren. How's it going, Sid?
It's great. Yesterday was tough, but now I'm free.
And we got Hunter Bumgardner back as always. How you doing today, Hunter?
Pretty good. I've been waiting on this all week. Let's get it going.
Dude, sweet. All right, so today we got a new thing going on. We've come up with a new idea. We're only 4 episodes in, and we're having to come up with new ideas. Not really. This is one of our ideas that me and Sid had last week. So basically what we've done is we have come up with a list of 20 topics, random topics about random things. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll a 20-sided dice, also known as a D20. We're going to roll a 20-sided dice, and whatever topic we land on is the discussion we're going to have that week. So there's a bit of a random aspect to it. We don't really know what we're going to be talking about going into it, so I think it should be a lot of fun. This week, Hunter
this isn't every week, though.
This is not an every week thing. We're going to do this every now and again just to keep the conversation rolling. Hunter won the opportunity to roll the dice this week, and he's ready to roll. Are you ready to roll?
Let's get ready to rumble. Roll the dice. Okay, 14.
Dude, wait a second. You said 14 earlier.
Dude, whenever I said 14, I was thinking to myself, I was like, if that happens, that's going to be really weird.
That's really weird. Now we have to keep the whole intro. And I'm happy about that because we were having fun.
The whole 40-minute intro we had?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some people don't have.
Well, guess what it is.
What's our topic, dude?
Favorite movies.
Dude, I'm actually excited that we got that one. All right. So, like I say, we're not prepared for this at all because we just randomly came to this.
Let's craft our topic because this is so broad. Are we just going to just say favorite movies, or are we going to try to say
I already got a thought up in my head.
What they mean to us, or what's the goal here?
I think, what they mean to us, how they inspire us, what they push us to do. Because my favorite movies are the ones that challenge me in some way.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's do this.
All right. So, who's going to go first? Hunter's jumping to the bit. So, yeah. Hunter, let's just give me 3 because I know you probably have 12,000.
Oh, God. Of all time? Give me a genre.
You're the one that came up with
the topic,
I have to
have
a
man. Genre to go with.
No, you're the one. No, you have to have an all-time favorite movie.
I have 12 genres in my head with 15 movies in each genre. But if I'm going to say anything, man, I want to say.
You literally just said you had this prepared.
I'm ready.
In my head, I was thinking about it, but now I'm going back against. Okay, favorite movies. My favorite movies tend to be really Inception-y movies, kind of like Inception, Shutter Island, Christopher Nolan movies.
Wait, so are you obsessed with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yes.
Okay.
DiCaprio is the coolest dude ever. With the whole
Okay,
Departed, all that stuff. That's
you're a big Scorsese fan?
Scorsese's. I've watched most of his films. Yes, the Goodfellas, all that jazz. But I also like superhero movies. But more particularly when there's not really necessarily a good guy, it's like an anti-hero.
So, if someone had a gun to your head right now and said, "What is your number one favorite movie?" What you have to know that.
What if it's not a movie? If it's a trilogy.
What out of the trilogy is your favorite one? Because mine isn't a trilogy.
Lord of the Rings is probably my favorite.
Which one? Because my favorite movie.
Two Towers.
Okay, my favorite movie is within a trilogy, and I know for a fact what it is.
What is it?
We're not talking about that yet. Yeah. We're talking about the Two Towers. So your favorite movie of all time is the Two Towers.
Well, I would have to say at this moment, yes. But I'm probably change that anytime, depending on what genre it is. Yeah. But right now, I'm thinking of the Two Towers. Mainly because I grew up watching that movie 50 times over. I never had the third one. When did the third one come out? 2003?
It was either 01 or 03. Yeah, it was 03.
So, from when I was 5 to when I was well, dang, I was only 7 when the third one came out. Well, I grew up watching the first and second one over and over again, and that kind of really influenced me to be a guy that loves action but not necessarily action, but action fantasy kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have the sword that Strider the Strider sword, not the what's the other sword called? Isildur sword?
Yeah.
I don't have that one, but I do have the Strider sword, and someday I want to get the ring. But
I used to have a ring back in elementary school. It was a cheap little, like I got it at a bookstore, but I freaking love that thing.
Yeah,
I had an Aragorn bookmark.
Dude, I had a lot of Lord of the Rings book. I had a Boromir bookmark.
Oh, really?
Or was it Boromir?
I got it at Walden Books, which is a throwback.
That's the same place I got my ring from.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I got my action figure of Aragorn from. Is it Aragorn?
Yeah.
I got him from.
It's your favorite movie of all time. You don't know the character's name?
I always pronounce it wrong. Aragon. I always get it confused with Aragon.
Yeah, if we say it wrong out here, people are gonna roast us.
Yeah, Aragorn. But yeah, like I got mine from the bookstore too. The action figure.
Yeah. You know, if we would have spent that same amount of money on Magic cards back then, we'd have been doing good.
Rich.
Yeah. To be honest. Okay, but that's not our topic. Wait, so can we all go around and say our favorite movies? Because I'm kind of excited.
I mean, I want to say more.
I was going to go a little deeper into each and then we can have a general discussion. So, just one more thing I want to ask is, is there anything from that movie that kind of impacted you on a deeper level than it just being, a cool action movie?
Everything about, I get goosebumps remembering the scene of when they're, at the last breath, Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas. They're all fighting. And they all know that they're at the very beginning of the fight, they're I can sense it, they know they're gonna die, kind of thing. They don't say they're gonna die, but they're looking into the horde of the god orcs, the orcs army, and there's you see it and it's CGI'd, but it's there's millions. It looks like there's millions of them, but they stand and they're just they're both looking at it at the face of death, and they're just smiling. And then Gimli's I can't see anything. Let me up, because he wants to see it too. He wants to stare the death in the face. And I just love how Gimli and Legolas have that kind of thing going during the fight. Isn't that where it starts when they start counting how many people they kill?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
orcs.
So.
Yeah, it starts there. That's when they're fight about how many people they did.
Yeah.
And so, but I just love how they were all out. It didn't matter. If you had never read the books and you were watching that scene, you're oh no, are they gonna all die? You don't know.
You know what? Let me just say this really quick before I forget. It'd be really interesting, and there's not a lot of people that watched Game of Thrones before they watched Lord of the Rings. But if you watched Game of Thrones and you understood that death was just a part of the fantasy, and then you watch Lord of the Rings, you know how scared you would be for a lot of those characters?
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Okay, I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
For anybody that hasn't watched Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings. Well, I guess we can kind of spoil Lord of the Rings a little bit because we're talking about it. All right, Sid, what would you say is your favorite movie?
Okay, and what are the follow-up questions?
I mean, I don't know. Just
going to ask you.
Didn't you ask Hunter some questions? Or is it just kind of free-flowing?
Not really. It just took him a really long time to get to the fact that Lord of the Rings was his favorite.
Okay.
I have a hard time picking one thing. Well, I wanted to say 15 different things.
I relate. I know that there's 10 movies that I've forgotten.
We're going to talk about more than just what we're saying now, but I just want gun to your head. What would you say?
Well, this is probably not my all-time favorite movie, but it always comes back to me. Probably because I keep it right next to my bed in my movie collection. But all that being said, my favorite movie is Hannah. Have you guys seen it?
Never seen it.
Never seen it.
Okay. Well, it has the Saoirse Ronan girl in it, who I think is awesome. And basically the movie's just really weird, but it has a legit story. So I've seen movies that are
Wait a second. Are you talking about that girl that's blonde that she's hunting?
Yes.
I think I have seen that. Yes.
Dude, that's...
And it's kills a deer or something?
Yeah. And so I love everything about it, the cinematography and the music, but what I like most is that it's this girl and she's really vulnerable, but she's a killer, but she doesn't understand her power. And the whole movie, you just learn so much about her. And you know how you kind of put yourself in the shoes of the person you're watching, and at the end of the movie you feel like that person, you get fired up, but then you realize you're you and it doesn't really apply, that kind of thing. Well, that's how I feel every time I watch it, and it just kind of inspires me because I'm this girl she just thinks she's a girl, but her life has so much more meaning because of who she is. And if you watch the movie, you'll understand that she's not just a normal
walk us through
girl.
What happens? I think I feel like I'm getting she was a killer at first, and then she like learned to be human at the end. Is
I
that
mean,
right, or is it
kind of?
the
But
opposite?
she just had to defend herself, and she was not the bad one. They were coming after her because
Yeah, she was like a secret.
she was
agent
like
or something.
she was actually like not human. She was made like in a lab.
Yeah, like,
and that doesn't come out
right.
to the end. So like there's that twist aspect, and just everything about the movie just makes me excited. And like I said, I can just like I really relate to it because like sometimes like I want to think that there's more to things in life, you know, and like just thinking that this girl's like this science fiction like creation like in a lab just kind of like makes you think like, well, what if that's with me, like, and I just don't know it, and like I know that's not true, but like that's the kind of stuff that I like to think about. I mean, that's just I'm a total science fiction
Have
fan.
you watched Ex Machina?
Yes. Is that the one with that the Tomb Raider girl in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, is she in that? Alicia Vikander?
She's in one of those movies.
I don't know if she's in Ex Machina.
I think I have.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, it is the Tomb Raider girl. I just realized what I was like.
Is it really her?
Yeah, it is. I was thinking of Terminator when you said Tomb Raider. I was like, Tomb Raider. Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
is.
Yeah, that was really cool too.
Yeah.
I like that movie. But Hannah is just like one that, and like it's
You took me back when you said that. I was like totally like surprised. Like that was a deep,
yeah.
like one of those movies I watched once.
I've watched it dozens of times just because like I just think like everything about it I love, just like the music, the
Yeah.
visuals, and just like the story and
Yeah,
her
it's like in the
acting
snow,
like too is just
right?
so yeah, and like the visuals like that
Yeah.
are so beautiful, like the contrast.
And her blue eyes
Oh.
and her blonde hair.
Yeah, dude.
But it's just like covered with the like the hoodie and like
Yeah.
not hoodie but like a really snow jacket, gray snow. I can see it out now. I can see it clear as day.
Oh, and it has one of my like favorite actresses in it, and I can't remember her name.
Yeah, her like fake mom or something.
Yeah. Do you know her name? She's the actually this ties back to Lord of the Rings because she was the elf queen lady.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
she's like incredibly famous. What's her name?
Yeah. I don't know.
Now I'm gonna be mad that I can't think of her name.
We're not allowed to use the internet.
Don't
No,
use the internet.
I'm just kidding.
man.
Wait, this is our podcast. We can use the internet, right?
Sure.
Okay.
I want to look up this woman. I
Kate
know-
Blanchett.
There you go.
I knew I didn't need the internet, man.
Yeah.
You're using this as a crutch, man. Train
I
your
know,
brain,
I
bro.
know. She's
But it's
so
like
hot. Oh,
just
sorry.
two amazing
Who?
actresses.
Kate Blanchett?
Yeah, for a grown woman, you know.
I've never found her that. She's a pretty woman, but I've never like felt
if
her
I
that
was in my
attractive.
40s, I think she would be the perfect.
Okay, let's
Fast forward
I'm going-
20 years.
let's move away from this.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I have to really say about that.
What
Okay.
about you, Clayton?
Well, okay, so I'm the same as you guys. Like, I'm a pretty big film geek, movie geek. I love a lot of movies, and I love movies for different things. Like, I love certain movies just because they have good cinematography. I love other movies just because the art direction, like, it's really specific like that. But I've always said when somebody's asked me this question that Godfather Part 2 is my favorite film of all time.
Never seen it. I got to see that one.
Don't watch Godfather Part 3 if you don't want to be disappointed. But Part 1 and 2 are incredible. But, like, I'm a huge fan of Francis Ford Coppola's work. He made masterpieces. And the Part 2, for me, is so good, mostly because of the acting for me. There's a scene in that movie where, what's his name, the actor? Al Pacino.
Yeah.
There's a scene where he's arguing with his wife and he gets up and slaps her. And that scene, it feels so incredibly real.
You know
Like,
why it was real? Because it was real. Like,
yeah, like he actually
he literally
did it.
slapped her.
But
and she
going
didn't
into that,
expect it.
no, going into that she knew, because I've read.
But he hit her harder than like.
Well, definitely, but like, and you can't get slapped in the face and it not kind of take you aback. But it wasn't even the acting of her. It was just like he seemed like the Godfather in that scene. Like he was a mob boss. Like, but the thing about it is, Michael, who's his character's name, it goes through this character arc through the first and second one where he comes back into the family after being in the military, and like he's not really a bad dude. He's not really part of this mafia scene. And then he comes back in, and when his father dies, he becomes the Don of the family because his brother's dead and all this other stuff. So like, you see this dude who doesn't really want to be a part of the mafia, and then he kind of like slowly has to fulfill his role as the Don of the family. And that scene right there is like when he becomes a villain. Like, when you start to hate someone in a film because of how good their acting is, like, that's what impresses me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, literally, that one scene is probably what makes it my favorite movie. But, like, I'm the same as Hunter, where my favorite trilogy is probably The Godfather, even though Part 3 is pretty terrible. Like, I'm not going to say it's garbage, but it's not very good.
Yeah.
But, like, so, like, the hard thing about trilogies is the second one is only my favorite because the first one was so good. Like, you can't have the Two Towers without Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
So it's weird when you're thinking about favorite movies to say a part of a trilogy because they can't stand alone from each other. But Godfather Part 2, great movie.
The Lord of the Rings is definitely a more fair example because it was supposed to be just one book.
Well, let's go into cinematography. I really like if it was cinematography we were talking about, a recent movie that I was watching that reminds me of that is
I had an easy one for this. Go ahead.
Actually, it's funny because it pertains Leo in it.
What is it?
I can't remember it though. I know you're talking. I know what I'm thinking. Do you know what it is?
Like the most recent one?
Yeah.
The one he won an Oscar for? What was it named?
See, it's like when you think about it, you can't remember.
Guy in woods that moans a lot.
No, shut up. Guy gets killed. No, it should be like bear attack. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
What the heck is that movie called? Like, why can't I think of movie names right now?
While you're thinking about that, I think Birdman. I didn't think it was a good movie, but
let me think.
It's the same cinematographer that's the movie we're thinking.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Birdman,
he won an Oscar
really
3 years in a row.
That's crazy.
Gravity, Birdman, and then this movie that I can't think of the name of.
It's like it's on the tip
Why
of my
is
tongue.
like in the moment I can never think of things like this.
If we'd have prepared more, but see, that's the great about this.
That's
why we have the internet.
People are probably listening to it, screaming it into like.
Yeah, I know exactly what we're talking about.
The Revenant.
Revenant.
Yes. Okay,
dude. Okay, if you just watch that movie and you don't know the backstory behind how it was shot, you still would say, like, that's incredible cinematography, probably deserved the award, but, like, literally, there was one scene in that entire movie where they used non-natural light.
Yeah.
They used natural, I mean, that is incredible to say about cinematography.
It made me feel like I was actually there looking at it. Because when you watch movies nowadays, and you can tell it's, like, fake lighting because it's, like, kind of off.
It doesn't seem natural.
Yeah, but when I was watching in the movie theater, I thought I was looking into a portal. Like there was a window I was looking through. And the music was like so like have you watched Wind River?
No.
It was kind of like that kind of music where it was like a constant like drawing in and out, but it kept you like in a trance. And you like if you take a kid to that movie, they're going to be bored out of their minds, but if you're like somewhat coherent about movies, like it like puts you in a trance and you just start like I don't know how to explain it. Like it was so.
That's another thing I'll have to say about The Revenant is that it is a well-made film because every element of it is so well put together. The sound design, the cinematography, the direction, the acting. Obviously, he won an Oscar for it. But like, you think back to the movies that y'all talked about and The Godfather 2, they all have these things like. You can't have a movie with just a good actor or just good cinematography and call it your favorite of all time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What about you? Like, you said Hannah for your cinematography.
I was gonna make another observation about movies, and like the reason my favorite movies are my favorite movies is because they make me feel a certain way afterwards. Yeah. So like I'm not into the technical stuff as much. Like I appreciate the heck out of it, and usually it correlates with my favorite movies having good. Technical stuff, but like I have a list of 5 here, and like here's an example. Like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, that movie like makes me dream. Like it's just like it makes me like because everything in his life is so amazing. Like he's basically in a video game. There's this girl that's the girl of his dreams, and this and that, and it's just like it just kind of like feels like a dream almost. Yeah. And then like Fight Club, that movie literally makes me feel evil. It makes me want to go like. Screw stuff up.
And that was the point because he was. It's funny you say that because that's what he was doing to all his other people in the movie.
Yeah.
And then it made you feel like that outside of the movie.
And I hate that movie. It
freaks you out because you're like, wait a second, is he influencing me right now? Like.
Yeah, he is.
Exactly.
And that's why I hate that movie, but I love it.
Movies can do that. That's creepy. You know?
Yeah. And then like Braveheart, that movie makes me passionate. It makes me want to fight for something and like. and just have a more important life.
Yeah.
And then my last example, Moulin Rouge, that movie like makes me like just want like the most passionate love, which I have. Shout out to Erica.
Hold up, what's Moulin Rouge? What does that mean?
It's with Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman, and it's just like it's basically a musical. And they're just falling in love, and it's this love story, but it's like surrounded by the most amazing soundtrack ever.
Ian McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Nicole Kidman,
red-haired lady.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I'm just trying to think of movies that they were on.
But I gave these specific examples because I think it's like I never thought about movies this way until now. Like this is making me think like that. Yeah. But that's why I like them. Because
that goes back to what me and Clayton were saying. Like we feel. I'm sure he felt the same way I did when I left the Revenant. Like, even though it was good, I feel like those kind of movies that have the cinematography, they have the music, they have the story. It's all in place. It's perfect. And you go away, and I mean, we feel like the same way you probably did when you left these movies. You felt some type of way. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a different feeling for each movie. But I know, like, Clay was probably feeling the same way after Godfather. You're like.
Which that one I didn't get to see in a theater, which is like when it comes to movies like that, makes a big difference. I think if I would have not seen The Revenant in theaters, I would have thought a lot differently about it.
Yeah, it's hard to focus on a movie when it's not in the theaters. Yeah, but when it's in the theaters,
what
I
will say about that list you just gave, Sid, though, and this is my argument, and like it might be an opinion. I'm not saying I'm right about this, but like. All of those are technical masterpieces, and like you say, you don't care about the technical stuff. Like I'm just a technical geek, and I love the technical side of films. Yeah. But like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, like the editing and the art direction in that movie is like.
Didn't that win
take
an Oscar
that to film school and teach what that movie.
Well, it was nominated, right?
I'm sure it was nominated for things, but like, I'm not saying you can't like movies that don't have these like perfect technical aspects, but like. Usually you're going to come out of a movie and you're feeling that way because of the technical aspect, because like that's the only way that they can actually portray the emotion they were trying to appraise if they get all that stuff right.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think there's some movies that have the most perfect technical stuff, but like they just fall short in like the story, like just this most central thing. And you're right. Like these all do have like they're beautiful movies. Yeah. And if they were recorded on a cell phone, I wouldn't feel the same way. I'd be like 20 minutes in and I'd be like, oh, I can't watch this.
Which, and people always say, and this is true to some extent, like story is king. And like that's so true that like if you don't have a good story, you can't make a good film. But if you have a perfect story and you don't have the technical stuff, I don't think it's going to be a good film. Yeah. I mean, and that's also because I'm such a technical geek. Like I love the technical aspect of film. So like that really weighs heavily on me, but...
I think there are more technical geeks out there than we realize because we're very critical. We look at content every day and we expect the best because we're handed it to us. So we all need that.
I think there are a lot of people who don't understand like what they're. I'm not trying to like downplay anybody. Like they're technical geeks, but like they don't know the technical jargon. They don't know what they're actually talking about in a way. I don't.
But everybody can sense like good technical skills.
Like when we were little, we didn't think about these things, but like, it all goes back to like how much time you spend on something. If movies is your passion and you spend like at least maybe 5 times a week, like, okay, not 5 times a week, but like if you do 4 movies in a week versus like a person that does 1 movie in 2 weeks, but they do other things, like who's more passionate about movies? The guy with 4 movies or the guy with 1 movie? It's probably the guy with 4 movies. Like I'm the kind of guy that like I used to like when I was like growing up in high school, I would watch a movie at night, like before I went to bed. That was my daily routine. Yep. When I would watch a movie, go to sleep, and I would have those feelings of that movie, and I would have dreams about those movies in my dreams. But
so with all this said, what is your favorite aspect of a film? Is it the writing? Is it the cinematography? Is it the music? Like, do you have a favorite? Like, that's really hard too.
Music, the good, the bad, the ugly. God, and the cinematography on that one.
For me, it's so easy to just say story, but then like I analyze that and I'm like, well, some of these movies have super basic storylines, but they're just like carried through with such emotion, and maybe they have like a little twist at the end. But like sometimes I don't know that it's about the story. I feel like every part is just as important as the other. So it's a tough question.
That is tough because, like, if you have, like I was saying, if you have an incredible story and crap cinematography or whatever, it's going to shine through. But, like, that's really hard for me. I mean, because I think with different movies, it's different things.
Yeah.
Like, with certain movies, the music is probably my favorite part of it. And with other movies, the cinematography.
Yeah.
So
I do want to try to answer your question though. I don't want to just.
Yeah, I think we should like try to challenge ourselves and say like, what is your favorite technical aspect of a film?
Yeah. I have to think about this for a minute.
Well, I can go. Let's talk about something else while he's thinking about that. What about like, how does Michael Bay movies make you feel?
Dude, I hate I hate them.
See,
I can't even verbalize my feelings about them because I can't stand them.
I don't hate him.
I know you love him, dude.
Him because I just love the like.
You love explosions and action.
No. I don't like that necessarily. If the story was terrible, I'm only gonna watch it once. But like the last Transformers movies,
I can see watching things once.
I haven't watched it since, But like, what's funny? It's almost comical for me to watch a Michael Bay film because I'm just like.
Yeah. Well, I can see those movies being good as a one-time viewing experience, but like
it's like a roller coaster ride, but you don't want to ride it every day,
And that's another like aspect of our favorite movies. Like, is it rewatchable? Because I'm never gonna call a movie my favorite movie unless I would be willing to sit down at any point and just watch it, no matter how many times I've seen it.
That's the problem with me though. I can't rewatch movies that have like a big twist in them.
Yeah, because the whole experience of like Shutter Island, love that movie. And I like watching it with new people who've never seen it because you get to see them experience it. But like just sitting down by myself and watching it wouldn't be nearly as cool.
Oh, this happens at the end. Well, I guess I can just turn it to the next movie.
But, sorry, I'll let you go in a second.
Okay.
Watching those movies twice is fun.
Yes.
Because the second time you notice so many things.
Much things.
Yeah.
Oh, what's a movie like that?
Hold on, I'm going to interject here. All right, I have a bad answer to your good question.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to say the special effects. And I'm only saying that because some movies don't need it. Yeah. But like if it's a special effects driven movie and that bad, then obviously that's a horrible answer. But that's my answer.
Wait, what is the question again?
I think
that's a cop out, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I thought you were
going
to say like cinematography was your favorite part of the movies.
No, I'm saying that's the least important part.
Oh, least important. Okay.
Yeah. But that's definitely a cop out. I just can't answer that. I mean, everything's important.
I think answering a question with a cop out answer is like just shows your intelligence. It's like how can I answer this and be correct about it?
Yeah.
Which I think you kind of did there.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and answer because I'm pretty confident that my favorite thing is cinematography. Where I could watch a crap movie with crap acting and terrible writing, and if it has cool cinematography, I'm really into it. And like, I'm not gonna say it's a great movie, but I don't know. I'm just a big geek of cinematography. I just love well shot films.
Have you seen Sin City?
No.
Well,
I know what you're talking about.
That portrays to like, if everything else is sucky except for cinematography.
Yeah.
Think about that movie. Like, it was pretty cool to watch because it was mostly cinematography. Everything else is like.
What was that? The one was like black and white.
It was black and white, but like when
I'd say
they
that's
shot
more
somebody,
like art direction.
it was like blood splattered, but you see red in the blood.
But I don't think that's really cinematography. Well, that's both practical effects and art direction.
Okay, so you're going with art. Okay.
I'm going with like the actual camera movement and lighting and all that stuff that's really baked into like the fundamentals of cinematography.
So you're talking about like, I got you. Yeah. Okay.
So, and that's another reason, like anybody that knows me knows that I'm like a really big Star Wars fan, but I'll never even have those in like my top 5 like favorite movies because I'm such a technical kind of guy, and they're awesome, fun action movies, and they have a lot of good lore to them, but they're not like feats of cinematography and feats of awesome writing. They're just like good movies.
What about the new ones? I mean, they've definitely.
What about the new ones?
I don't know. I mean, the technology's there now. I
will say, I don't want to get into this. Man.
Okay,
like
I agree.
I could literally talk to you for 3 hours about my favorites of all the movies, the differences between the new and old. Like, I'm very passionate about this stuff.
Yeah, I hesitated asking, but I was like,
because I know we have somebody else on this podcast who even refused to go watch Han Solo because he's so...
Okay, I didn't refuse.
Hello, listeners out there in podcast land. At this point in the podcast, I'm sorry to say, me and Hunter got into a little bit of an argument over Star Wars and all that stuff, and it turned into more of an argument than a conversation, so we're actually going to cut it out of the cast, but we're going to upload that to our YouTube channel, so if you do want to hear what me and Hunter have to say, you can go over to our YouTube channel, which just go to YouTube and search Young Adults Guide, or the link will be down in the description below. But for now, let's get back to the cast.
Cool. Okay. So
Where were we
back
at
to
before
movies.
that? Where were we at before?
We went.
I remember talking about movies as like feelings. Like that's oh no, we were talking about what our favorite, the most important aspect of filmmaking is. And we kind of determined, like, I feel like story is, but I said the other thing, but like I think the story is.
Oh, I know how I got into Star Wars, because I said that the reason they won't ever be in my top 5 is because they're not like, they don't have any of those technical elements.
Yeah.
They're not at the top of their game. Well, music maybe, but that's, you know.
All right, well what else can we like find that's insightful from movies?
So like we've talked about our 3, like what we would say our favorite movies are. Like, what are some other, I mean, you listed 5, like what are some other movies, Hunter?
The worst movie ever, The Room.
I don't think so, man. Like, the fact that it's so bad makes it incredibly good.
I know. I just wanted to say that.
But
which movie?
The Room.
The Room?
It's like
I don't think I've seen that.
it's one
Not
of the
not
worst.
a lot of people have seen it, but it's
Yeah.
like it's a
mean,
meme.
Oh.
They made it into they made a movie about it, like where the Franco brothers actually made a movie about it.
The
I heard
Disaster
that.
Artist.
Yeah.
And
Well-
that's how I heard about it. Was from that movie. I was like, "What's the Disaster Artist?" Because I always loved Franco movies.
I like when that movie came out and everybody was like, "What's this The Room movie?" And I'm sitting here like I've known about this movie for years.
You're like, yeah.
I was like, this is funny. But like, what are some? Okay, here's 2 things I want to ask for all of us. What is one of your favorite movies in the past year? And then just like go into some other movies besides your favorite number 1 favorite movie.
You're gonna disagree with mine.
God,
I really liked Ready Player One.
I haven't seen it because I refuse
know,
to watch it.
I know you
Dude,
do.
Why do you?
It's a good movie.
Because I read the book and I don't want to see that stupid movie.
but it's a good book too, right? I haven't read it, but
I'll watch the movie as long as in my head they stay separate.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things in that book, in that movie, from what I can tell, they're completely different from the book.
It's a fun movie, dude.
I could see how it would be a fun movie.
Yeah.
I would have to say, I'm not even gonna look it up.
From this past year.
The Avengers movie.
Oh my God.
I know you're gonna get mad at me for that one, but that has been like a long time coming.
Yeah. It
I
was a big
so
culmination.
excited when it came out. Like I was like, "Holy crap! It's finally here!"
Yeah.
You know, the culmination of what? How long? It was 2012 when the first Avengers movie came out.
Yeah.
We all went to see it. It was me, Clayton, Spencer,
Sid was with us.
Sid.
'cause
Yeah.
he
Oh,
had-
I went a long time ago. That wasn't recent, I don't think.
No,
The
I
first
said
Avengers.
2012.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were all there, and we all were wearing masks, and we were like,
Yeah, that was
I had the
exciting.
Hulk hands, and I
Yeah.
was like, Hulk smash, and somebody
Yeah.
was like laughing at me. I'm like, it was funny. Like, even back in 2012, that was weird. But now, like, cosplaying and going to a movie is so normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, even 6 years ago, people thought that was weird.
That's
How
interesting.
funny is that?
Yeah.
Things changed.
Avengers really kicked it off, and that's the
Yeah.
first one, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, Iron Man was the first.
But Avengers
Well,
kicked off,
Yeah.
like,
the fandom.
the fandom and the cosplaying and everything like that.
I mean, like, and so 2012, 2018, that's 6 years. Like 6 years of like movie making, culminating to like it's just never been done in cinematography before, like ever.
Cinematography.
Cinema
history.
Yeah, cinema history. I don't know why I'm thinking.
Well, this really isn't the culmination. It's like the first part of it.
True, but it's like an arc, the first arc.
I'll controversially say that it was the culmination, and the second part's not going to be nearly as good as the first one.
It's
Yeah,
possible.
that's true. I feel like they're gonna.
Because
Let's talk about what do you think they're gonna do.
part of what made that movie so good was the excitement build up.
Yeah.
And now that we don't have that 6 years of build up and like all of these like questions, like it's not
Why
gonna be
isn't
as
there
good.
going to be 8 years of build up? Because it's the second part to the culmination.
Yeah, just push it down to 2030. I don't care.
Yeah, but the thing is,
No, I'm just. No, I'm not saying.
I don't want to.
it's
Can we
gonna-
say spoiler alert?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right, spoiler alert. We're about to talk into heavy spoilers.
I
on
know
this
we're an
movie.
hour and 25 minutes in, or however long we're in. Spoiler. Let's go back to the beginning and say spoiler alert.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
talking about
yeah.
movies.
Yeah. But yeah, when he snapped his fingers and everybody was starting to die, I was like, oh no. But I was like, oh yeah. I was like enjoying it. Like I was like, holy
Dude.
crap, they're doing it. They're actually doing this in a movie because
Dude.
everybody was talking
No,
about how
they're
they weren't
not.
going to.
They're gonna all come back somehow.
I know, but like at the time when I was
But-
seeing it, it was like, yeah, they killed Black Panther. You know how crazy that movie went?
That's
It
that,
was
when they
gross
kill
and-
Black Panther. I'm like, oh yeah, this isn't happening because
But-
Yeah, 'cause-
everybody's just crazy about Black Panther.
I
But
know.
in order to get the real emotion and feel how you need to feel about it, you need to step in the shoes of one of those characters in the movie. They don't know it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are legitimately emotionally impacted.
Well, look at
by
people
this.
that are not fans of Avengers that went to go see that movie and saw their favorite Black Panther characters like die. Like, what the crap? Like they're like furious.
Well, so the reason I love the Avengers so much is because of the villain, and the reason you're like, oh no and oh yeah at the end is because like to some degree you agree with Thanos,
yeah.
and the fact that he thinks what he's doing is right. Like he thinks he is being a moral being of the universe and doing what needs to be done in order to save the universe.
Well, think about it this way: if we were having to do that, if we were in his shoes, and we went to other planets, do you think we would actually care about the other planets because they would be different species and we'd think of them differently? Because humans have this thing of like, oh, they're not human. I don't really care about them.
But that shows.
Like, I feel like we would do the same thing if we were in his shoes. You know?
You think we would snap the finger and get rid
Yeah.
of half?
Because his entire planet was destroyed.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of people do when they feel great pains, they do crazy things like, and it
Well,
looks
I mean,
irrational.
His whole rationale behind it is that like
he doesn't want anyone else to feel that pain.
yeah, he's saving everybody.
Yeah.
He's saving people from the pains he felt and a lot of other issues too, like overpopulation and whatnot.
What's the saying? How's it go? For the greater good or something?
No.
It's kill one, save 1,000 from the Wanted movie. Like,
Oh yeah.
like
That's
if
a
you,
good movie too.
if you kill half the universe to save the other half, I mean, I could have like, if it was me, I would have been like, okay, give everyone twice the amount of supplies or whatever. But if
Yeah,
you
there was a
only
different
had
way
one
around it.
choice and you had to kill,
But which is more
half
sustainable? Giving people like doubling the
the planet size.
doubling the food and doubling the size. Which is more sustainable? You know.
Well, true, but like if you double it or if you take away what's taking the supplies away, it's just gonna
They're both millions of years down the line gonna
be
a
back to
problem
normal again. So
This is why I don't like that movie. And there's another reason too, because I didn't at the end when everybody was dying, I'm like, I don't give a crap. And like I know that's bad to say and that's not gonna be a popular opinion, but like they didn't like make me feel anything for those characters. The only thing I have is like the past movies, but I don't bring that in with me when I'm watching a movie. I'm not the kind of guy that watches all of them before I come in.
I totally get it because like
They didn't develop character.
No,
and like
they
the story
didn't
was
at all.
horrible.
they
And
didn't
then
at all.
like you're saying, there wasn't a bad person. They made Thanos good, and then the superheroes are obviously good. And the only bad person was Star-Lord. They made him look like an idiot. And by the way, he's my freaking favorite character.
that's why you're mad.
And
that is why you hated the movie because
Well,
they tore your character apart.
They did kind of develop Thanos' character.
they made you like him. And I'm like, what are they doing? Like this movie's
I
getting,
didn't like him, but I agreed with him. That's what they made you do is agree with him.
I
Like the
felt
same
bad
thing
for
that-
him when he had to kill Gamora. Like it was a horrible thing.
Think
But
about how you felt in Black Panther with Warmonger. There was people in the theater like, like shaking their heads, yes, when he was saying his opinions versus like, Tachanka and his opinions about the world. And people were agreeing with Warmonger way more because they see it. And so I feel like Marvel's trying to give us more in depth on their villains.
That's to me what makes a good villain. That's why Darth Vader is the greatest villain in movie history, is because he was fighting this conflict between was he good or was he bad, and like he's good, and you can still watch those movies knowing that in the end he redeems himself, and you can still enjoy how like the type of villain he is. And like I
you
think
still hate him when he's being evil.
yeah, but don't you hate Thanos when he's being evil? Like when he's interacting one-on-one with the Avengers and you're loving them, like do you not hate the evil he's doing to them?
I think I would have more if I had more connection to the characters,
Yeah,
but that movie
makes
did
sense.
not
That makes
connect
sense.
me at all.
I mean,
well, that's the point with all their other movies is to connect you to
but the
those
characters. But a lot of the characters don't have standalone movies. Even Guardians of the Galaxy, they have standalone movies, but there's so many of the characters like you just don't have enough time with them, you know.
Yeah, true.
And I'm not saying it's their fault. That movie was so huge. I don't think they could have wrote it any differently to
yeah,
make
I
you.
see what you're saying now, Sid, because the people that actually had standalone movies that were good didn't die. except for Black Panther. But like look at Thor, like the latest movie that came out, everyone loved it. He didn't die.
He wasn't gonna die. He's a god.
Of course. But like, look at Iron Man. They weren't gonna kill off Iron Man.
Yeah.
They killed off Spider-Man, which is really good. But
that's what I was gonna say. That death is the only one that got me emotionally because, like back when you're a kid, and you get worried about are your parents gonna like you feel this like fear inside of you, fears, and like I mean I'm not saying he's a kid, he's a teenager. Like, you understand when he was dying and what did he say to Tony? Like,
I'm sorry, Mr. Stark, or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Man, that got me because, like, you feel that emotion because you know what it feels like to be a teenager and be scared about something.
Yeah.
But that's the only one that, like,
And it was sad because I feel like he felt disappointed. Like, he felt that Tony was disappointed in him for, like, I don't know. It was really emotional to think about that, though. Like, that one, and what do you think another one was? Like, if you could choose.
I don't know if I was emotional about any of the other ones.
Maybe Bucky?
Bucky hasn't had enough development in the movies.
What about Groot. We're missing Groot.
Groot gets me.
Dude, he was like Groot. in the Guardians of the Galaxy, was it 2? Where he was like dancing and having fun with everybody. Yeah. And that like after that movie, I had so many people I was talking to, like especially girls that were like, "Oh, I love this little creature, Groot. I love him."
You know what I'm thinking about? I think I've been incredibly desensitized to death because of Game of Thrones. Because when I think about Groot, I wish he was just dead. He sacrificed himself in Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. He shouldn't have come back. This is the emotional climax of the film. This character you love, this awesome character died. Emotional climax. Oh well, he's back. He's back to life.
Yeah, and that sums Marvel movies up for you right there.
I guess you're right with that.
Which I'm fine with that because they're meant for a broad audience, for children and everything. But like, for me, someone who's a big Game of Thrones fan and like, I'm an adult and can appreciate darker things.
Well, come on. If you're gonna go there, then we're gonna go with the JS version of that Marvel-ness. I don't want to spoil it, but I want to like. Okay, can I spoil it?
What are you talking about?
Game of Thrones. They bring back.
That's different.
No, it's still the same concept of having something climax and then bring them back later. Like,
hey, I didn't sign up for spoilers, and I haven't seen Game of Thrones, and I plan to.
Yeah,
so.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's why I didn't say anything.
Yeah,
much.
But I don't think that's the same.
What do you mean that's not the same?
He's a different type of character. We gotta stop talking about it because we're gonna spoil it for someone for Sid. So that was okay. We finally got through Hunter's favorite movie of last year. What was yours, Sid?
I know there's some I'm not thinking of, but I just saw Ready Player One like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's what
so
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's.
I like that. Like I've expressed myself to be a fan of science fiction. That movie just pleasured me to watch. Honestly,
it pleasured me too.
Like. It was just centered around science fiction.
I never watched The Shining.
It gave me everything I wanted.
So
and afterwards I did, and I was like,
did it make you want to live in the 80s?
Yes.
Okay. That's what the book. That's what the book did for me, and like that's what I was missing with the trailers is because it was like all this. Because you were only stuff.
Yeah, you were seeing the modern stuff like the gaming version of it.
But I'm gonna change my answer.
90s stuff in there
because you're right. It wasn't about the 80s. It was more about like
the 90s.
Felt more like the future to me. Like it didn't feel like I could peg it to 80s or 90s or 2000s. It was just like something completely different.
Yeah.
But like the 80s music kind of gave you the same nostalgia as like Guardians of the Galaxy would.
Yeah.
What it did for me was like it pretty much reawakened. Well, okay. Like it gave me a world where like, okay, if this was in the future, I would be gun-ho for this whole world thing.
Yeah.
Because not only does it just flood the gates open, like the floodgates open with nostalgia. Like when they showed the Gundam, I was like, finally.
See, that was one of the biggest problems I had with it was the Gundam.
See,
because the Gundam is not in the book.
You didn't even know it was a Gundam until I pointed it out.
Because I refused to believe that it was a Gundam because that's not in the book.
Hey, it still does like Freddy and Jason and all those other 80s characters. Okay, not
Freddy
80s,
and Jason were not in the book.
Okay.
That also made me really mad.
Well,
like,
wait.
Why are these random horror villains in the movie?
What was different from the book than the movie?
It was just all 80s stuff, man.
Well, Kit, isn't it? The car, Kit?
Yeah. I don't think that was in there.
No.
They didn't have
the DeLorean. The DeLorean.
No, the DeLorean wasn't in it. They didn't have like super direct references like that.
Wait, the DeLorean wasn't in the book?
No.
I swear it was. Wasn't he writing it in the movie? In the book?
Yeah, in the movie.
In the book, I thought he wrote it in the book too.
I'm pretty sure he didn't write it in the book.
Well, I swear that was like the one thing I remember.
Here's what the book. It made you like the 80s, nostalgic about the 80s because the people in the movie were so into the 80s, but it didn't make a lot of direct references. You were more just like enjoying this cool story. So it wasn't as much about like, oh, what a cool reference, which I feel like that's what the movie was. It was like, oh, my favorite like Gundam.
Like the movie was an entire reference to.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
else.
I feel like the book just feels so much different.
Yeah. What is Gundam? I just saw the movie and I can't.
Gundam?
Yeah.
Okay, the thing that was
the big mech,
the Japanese dude that was in the sky, and he was like,
oh yeah,
and then like it just transformed into like a Gundam camp. Now, Gundam is like one of my favorite animes.
I never watched it, and I still haven't.
It's because it's like I don't know. You just watch it.
I'm gonna write it down. I'll look it up.
Don't look at the old ones. Watch like my favorite one. It's because I watched it when I was a kid. I stumbled upon it. It was Gundam, the Blazing Hand or something like that. Gundam Fighter or Gundam G or something. I don't know. Just look it up. It's the Blazing Hand. You want to write next to it.
Okay.
But
I can. Speaking of anime, I can add like a movie. The Sword Art Online.
Yeah, definitely.
What's the newest one? Ordinal Scale.
I haven't seen the movie.
Oh, there's a movie.
Is it good?
There's a movie for it.
I enjoyed it. It felt like one of the episodes. Like at first, I can't remember her name. Asuna.
Yeah.
I didn't like how she was acting. Like she was too sassy. But then she came back to herself.
Oh, in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked her better in season 1 than.
Well, see, I personally enjoy where the season 2 goes, which it kind of goes away from like what Sword Art Online is.
Yeah.
But that's because it's a whole manga. Mm-hmm. Like there's all these storylines, and I like the fact that they kind of explored that. So I can kind of see how they would do that in the movie because like they're going through these whole people's lives, like this a lot of storylines. So
yeah. That's
they have a lot of things to explore.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. But yeah, it was. What were we talking about?
I don't know. I think it's Clayton's turn
Gundam,
for the.
And then
my movie is completely different than any of y'all's favorite movies from the past year, and like this technically was in the past year. La La Land.
2018.
Oh yeah,
this is 17.
I agree.
Okay, that's cheating.
It's been within the past 365 days.
Okay, come on. I thought you meant 2018.
And also, I saw it in 2018 for the first time.
Hey, can I say something real quick? And Erica can vouch for me.
No,
listen. When I saw that in the theater, I came in with no expectations.
Me too.
And I literally jumped out of my seat in frustration like 3 times. And Erica was getting embarrassed.
I was like,
but like I was getting so into it.
I was crying, but I was also pissed.
You don't like it because of the same reason you don't like Star Wars, because it's got an unconventional ending.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like happy endings because the world is unconventionally non-happy.
No, we always get happy endings in movies. Why not want a bad one, man? It's not even a bad ending. It's not even a bad ending.
I want to be able to go to sleep.
It is actually a very happy ending. They both have what they want. They both fulfilled their dreams.
Yes,
man.
For the versions of themselves that never met each other. Yes, but
when they never met each other.
All right, think about it this way: they got what they wanted because before they met each other, that was their dreams. But when they met each other, that changed everything. Because
no, it didn't. Obviously not, because they still went down the same path, even though they met each other.
Well, I feel like love is better or is greater than dream. I don't know. I don't know. Dreams versus love.
That's the thing,
I go love every way.
That's the thing. They didn't really love each other. You've got to understand that if they truly loved each other and they were truly that passionate about each other, they would not have chased their dreams. Mm. Their dreams were more important to them than each other.
But that scene at the end when he was, I don't know, man.
He maybe still loved her, and that's fine. But she definitely. I mean, she like has moved on.
Walk me through that again. What was that? The dream for the guy was the jazz club. The girl's dream was an actor, right?
Yeah.
So weren't they like fighting or something because the girl needed to move, or was the guy trying to? I don't know. I can't remember that part.
I mean, he was just being like a douche.
Okay, so he was like
because he was moving away from his dream. Like he wanted to be like a classic jazz club owner, and he joined the band. And was going into this modern jazz
away from them
because like he was feeling pressured to make the money and whatever. And she was mad at him for going away from his dream. So, like, ultimately, what she wanted deep in her heart was for him to fulfill his dream.
Well, that's love.
Yeah, exactly. And if you love someone that much, you're willing to split ways in order to like let them achieve what's going to make them happy.
I see your point. But I know what you're saying.
The ending is not why that movie was my favorite of the year. And like when I walked out of that movie theater, I called my dad because my dad is the one who told me to go see it because him and my mom went and saw it like a week before I did. And I was like, that, and like this is kind of an exaggeration looking back, somewhat. I said, that's the closest thing to a perfect film I've ever seen. And like I don't say that lightly about movies because I feel like I'm a pretty big critic of movies, but like, and it's also opinion because I'm a huge fan of jazz music. I love jazz music. I love Damien Chazelle because I loved his first film, Whiplash. I didn't. There was nothing in that movie you could point to that I disliked. Not at all. Cinematography, art direction.
I love the cinematography.
Direction, everything about that movie is brilliant.
I don't know. My feelings override my logical thinking.
They did it on purpose. If they could have left out all the love and just gave us a bland story, but like I felt so much emotion, and it wasn't a positive emotion at first, and that's the sign of a good movie. I mean, it engaged me. Like
it hit you in all the right ways. Like
it
made you feel love. It made you feel romantic. It also made you feel heartbreak.
Yeah,
that's what it was. That's what emotion. It was heartbreak that you felt when you left the movie. Like you felt heartbroken. Like I felt heartbroken.
I really think anybody that leaves that movie theater heartbroken is looking at it wrong. Like when you first see that scene when she walks into the club, that's heartbreak. But then the whole musical number, and then when you start to understand their real feelings toward each other, I don't think you should be heartbroken. I think you should understand that they chased their dreams because they loved each other, because they wanted to push each other. Like they were pushing each other that whole movie to chase their dreams, and that was what was most important to them.
I know. I just feel like she could have waited a little bit longer before she brung that guy in there. I wish she would have got married, like eventually, like got back with him or something.
See, that's too conventional, man. Like that's too like fairy tale happy ending. Because that's just not life, man. That stuff doesn't happen in life.
I know, it sucks.
If this is real life and you're in California, you meet this awesome dude, but you have to move away because you are chasing your acting dream, like you're not gonna get back with that dude. Like, so like this movie was realistic.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just emotionally, I'm like hating.
The reason I'm so passionate about that is because everybody I've talked to that has not liked that movie, that is their reasoning, is because they didn't like the way it ended. Yeah, and I just think I don't think that's the right way to go about it.
It's not that I hate that movie. I keep saying I hate it, but it's not that I hate it. It's like one of those, like the villain thing. Like you don't really hate the villain because you enjoy when you see, like with Thanos. We don't hate him.
Yeah.
But I feel the same way towards that movie. It's like
I also really like that movie because before that movie, I wouldn't say that I hate musicals because I think that's an ignorant statement. I just haven't seen enough.
That's probably the best musical I've seen.
I haven't seen enough of them to enjoy them, but like that made me want to go find more musicals because and that compounded at the same time of like I fell in love with Hamilton last year, or like 2017, and like I can literally play the soundtrack to La La Land and sing every word to every song because the music was just that good.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was looking for more stuff like that, and I watched Moana, and now I know every word to every song of Moana. I was just like looking for good, like Actually, I did Moana because of Hamilton, because of
Lynn.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my favorite movie last year.
Yeah, that's
there were some good movies last year.
Up there for me too. Yeah, like I said, I think we're missing so many like for this year and forever, but like I think it says a lot for the ones that come to our mind, you know.
Yeah. I'm a big award season fan too. Like I really like the award season movies. Yeah. And I didn't see enough of them last year. Like 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. I think that's the name of it. Like,
why don't we just get together and watch them then?
We need to, because I've a dude I used to work with is a big movie fan like me, and he said that movie's just like hits you, man. Like it's very emotional and everything. And I didn't see Moonlight either.
Yeah, didn't that win? That was that. What happened? There was some kind of mishap, and like they were like, "Oh, this movie won," and they're like, "Oh, no, Moonlight won," and everybody was like clapping and like,
yeah.
What happened with that?
They gave Warren Beatty the envelope for Best Female Actress which was Emma Stone. So he opened it up and he saw Emma Stone's name and he associated it with La La Land, and he just said La La Land.
Oh no.
Oh
yeah.
And then all the people were like, wait, no. And then they changed it.
So now I'm confused. Wait, La La Land came out in 2017.
Yeah. And Moonlight.
2016.
Yeah.
Wait.
It seems like it's been a long time.
Hold on.
Now I'm confused because I know there's been an Oscars since that Oscar flub.
Yeah.
It might have been 16.
Dude, that's crazy. If it was 16, that blows my mind because I swear I've seen it.
Yeah, it was 16.
Dude,
it came out
that's crazy.
right.
I didn't see it until January of 2017 then. That's actually blowing my mind right now. Like, time just flies.
Yeah.
It came out right at the end of the year, so that of course they would have it at the beginning of the next award ceremony, like
Well, that's how
December 9th.
all the Oscar movies come out, like December.
Yeah, and yeah, that was one of them.
Well, now I got to think of a new answer.
Let's go. Let's do it.
I can't even think of movies I've seen in the past year.
Yeah, I know.
Let me just look them up.
Oh, okay, you're gonna look up every movie that came out last year.
I mean, past
Google should help you out with that.
movies.
They usually have a nice little layout.
Are we doing 2018 or 17? 18. We're just gonna go with 18.
Okay, I'm just gonna go with Solo.
I haven't seen it.
I swear.
I'm not even kidding.
Bohemian Rhapsody. You seen that movie?
No, I'm not even kidding. The ending of Solo was one of the best feelings a climax has given me in a very long time.
You're so weird because the reviews on it were so terrible.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it.
Hunter.
I know.
The character in that movie, you know who it is. You know who I'm talking about. You love him. And he's back. And he's in the movie.
I know. I don't want to spoil it, but I knew exactly who you're talking about.
And that movie did throw me off, though, because Emilia Clarke, that's her name, right? I just kept thinking of Game of Thrones the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And that was throwing me off.
It looks like a lot of these movies are super new. But Fantastic Beast. No, these are all too.
So my mom and dad were in California a couple weeks ago, and they went to Disney. And they sent me and Mackenzie a picture of these shirts and asked if we wanted them for our honeymoon, which is like a long way away.
Yeah.
It's a Han Solo shirt that says "I love you" and the Leia shirt that says "I know."
Oh, is that a dialogue they had?
Yeah, in the second movie, he's about to like be frozen.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
That's from the
like,
original Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's about to be frozen. He's like, "I love." She's like, "I love you." He's like, "I know."
Wasn't that improv?
Improv.
Yeah.
Man.
Have y'all
That's
seen
why
The
it's such a
Grinch?
good one.
Yeah.
The new Grinch movie?
No.
Okay, let me talk about the new Grinch movie for a second. The original cartoon Grinch, favorite Christmas movie of all time. Also, really love the Jim Carrey Grinch. That is like I have to watch
The Grinch.
I have to watch the Grinch every year. But so like when I saw this new Grinch coming out, I was kind of mad. I was like, this doesn't look like, the Grinch. This doesn't look like his character. They're throwing like the whole Minion spin on it and everything. But like the more trailers I've seen, I'm actually pretty excited for it.
Oh, let me tell you. Me and Lauren went to go see it. It surprised me because I was like,
It was really good.
God, no, I don't want to watch this. It's going to be one of those gay movies. But I watched it, and it was,
That was
like...
an inappropriate comment.
Sorry. You're right. But when I watched it, it was like... It took me back to the book, like the actual book of the Grinch. Like, it didn't take me back to Jim Carrey, because Jim Carrey was like...
That's interesting to hear.
Like,
Because I thought it was going totally the opposite direction of the book.
Like, the narration is just like the book. It's almost like if you brought the book with you, it was like
That's good. I'm
brung to
excited.
life.
I'm excited to hear that.
now the anime or the whatever you call it, the animation. It's
Don't call anything made in America anime.
yeah, the animation is like it looks Minion-like, but okay, it is kind of Minion-like.
Well, it's the same studio.
Yeah, but let me tell you, the graphics when you're watching it on a big screen,
I know that.
you can see this like
I'm not saying I don't like the
it's
animation style.
It's beautiful.
I just don't like their writing style. Is there any potty humor in it? Any fart jokes? Any poop jokes? Because if there is, I swear I'm not seeing it.
I don't think so.
I hate that stuff. What
There was this
it?
one guy that like that when you do see it, there's a guy in the woods like the lumber guy, like there'll be him, but he doesn't do fart jokes or anything like that. It's just like it's not the same story as the book, but it brings you back to nostalgia with the book. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Like they changed the movie up a little bit.
I'm such a big fan of the original Grinch cartoon movie that's why I'm such a skeptic. Because like, and the reason that is my favorite movie is because when I was a little kid, that was my dad's favorite movie. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna make that my favorite movie. And like even to this day, that still just resonates with me, and I still love watching that movie.
Well, with the book, was he in an orphanage in the book? In the book? Oh my God, my brain
Was
just
he
went,
in an orphanage?
Yeah.
I don't think he in the book. I don't think he was.
Did
he
was
go
into
in the
his
Jim
past?
Carrey movie. I don't think it went to the past at all.
Well, in the past, in the Jim Carrey, it was like he was with a family or something. They didn't like.
He was an orphan though.
Yeah, but he was with somebody. But in this new one, I don't want to spill it. Okay, in this new one, he's like.
I don't care if it's
in
the
an
same
orphanage,
story. He steals Christmas and he gives it back.
But like the way they portray his orphanage life was like Lemony Snicket's portrayal of like the unfortunate events. Like it was like terrible.
Well, I mean, in the Jim Carrey one, he's like made fun of and.
Yeah, but like
he hates everybody.
It wasn't that. It was darker. I feel like you just have to watch it. Like,
we need to back up for a second. We need to do an entire podcast on a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah,
oh,
I want more of those
movies. The Netflix
movies.
version or the
Have
books?
you seen the Netflix version?
No.
I would watch it.
I'm afraid to watch it.
It's hard to stay. Like I tried
like
watching it, but
Really?
like it's for me it got old because I watched it over and over and over again.
I like it because it goes in a different direction. And Neil Patrick Harris has a lot to do with the direction it goes in, and it's really quirky and it's different. But like, I think it's a good callback to the books.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's definitely better than the movie with Jim Carrey.
Really?
Funny
I actually
how
like that movie.
We keep thinking
I like
about Jim
the movie
Carrey.
too.
Well, the thing was they didn't finish. They just stopped at 1, 2,
Yeah, if
and
they would have
3.
kept going, it'd been nice.
It'd have been great, but they didn't. They just stopped at 1, 2, and 3.
I really think that Neil Patrick Harris
It's
makes
better.
a better
Way
pull-off
better
than Jim Carrey.
Neil Patrick Harris not only pulls a better like it. I don't know. Like he's just amazing with it.
Neil Patrick Harris is an incredible actor, and like I didn't really know that until Gone Girl. I was like, this guy's good.
Oh, dude.
I will also say that Jim Carrey is an incredible actor. I think he's one of the best actors of our time. Like his dramatic work, especially like in the Sunshine of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless
I love
I
that.
still haven't seen that movie, but
So,
I
like,
watched the Truman Show last night, and I was showing Lauren.
It's funny because like when
Great
I'm
movie.
watching a series of unfortunate events on Netflix, I'm comparing them because of the role of Olaf, and there's like these weird similarities between Neil Patrick Harris and Jim Carrey in like the facial acting, because that's Jim Carrey's thing.
Yeah.
And you really see that with Neil Patrick Harris a lot.
Cool.
It's like,
Do you think
need
he
to watch
got
that.
that from Jim Carrey?
I think he's trying to he watched that movie, I think, and kind of took some of what Jim Carrey put into that character, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, even the snarkiness to him. Like I feel like he kind of got it from Jim Carrey.
You can't do Jim Carrey though. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
there's a documentary about Jim Carrey making.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking
Have you
about.
seen it?
Yeah, I watched it. It was
Dude.
like, it was really weird how he like lost himself.
Well, it's not
what
even
is that
just
movie?
it's not even just how he acted that movie. That gives you so much insight into like how psychological Jim Carrey thinks about his acting roles.
Yeah.
No matter like if he's in The Mask or The Grinch, like no matter what silly role he's doing, he like gets deep, which is
Method
really cool. I
acting.
like that. I don't.
Yeah.
He's a method actor because he definitely did method acting in that, but like I don't think he's one of those weird method actors. Like
Well, he doesn't do it all the time, but with that particular movie,
with that
he
particular
did that.
movie,
I don't think he did it again. Actually,
I think he scared himself, man.
yeah, he was like, "Holy crap, what did I
He
do?"
got lost in that character.
Because he was talking about himself.
What's the name of that movie?
I don't know. Andy.
Yeah, Andy something.
Andy something like Zuckerberg. No, Andy.
Andy Zuckerberg.
I'm trying to think. Giving me names in my head. Trying to think of it.
Kaufman.
Kaufman.
No,
Andy
I don't think
Kaufman.
it
It
was
is Kaufman. It is Andy
I
Kaufman.
don't think it was Kaufman.
Definitely Andy
I
Kaufman.
threw that out there because Kaufman came into my mind because he's such a good writer. But
It's definitely Andy Kaufman. Okay, let me look.
I'm thinking about a different Kaufman. I'm thinking about the Kaufman that wrote. God, now I can't even think.
Yeah, it's definitely Andy Kaufman.
Okay, I was right. Becoming
Yeah.
Andy Kaufman, I think, is the name of that documentary. Dude, we're like so far into this. You think we should wrap it up? I just, movies is my favorite thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Probably in the whole world.
I mean, I think we
Jim
should leave a
and-
little gas so we can maybe do it again.
It's called Jim and Andy. The
Jim and
Great
Andy.
Beyond.
Okay, that was a really interesting movie.
I haven't seen it. I'm gonna write that down too.
Dude, what else is there, man? Like, I guess we should wrap it up. Because, like, I could literally go for days about movies.
Yeah.
And about...
Even if we cut out the beginning now, we're going to be long.
TV shows, too, man.
I know. We have that written down.
I could talk about TV shows for just as long as I could talk about
so
movies.
Much. Do you remember when we used to do this in high school? We used to have week-long conversations about movies and Netflix shows.
Yeah, man.
We would just go on and on and on. Like,
yeah, and I just love entertainment, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I love talking about entertainment. I love discussing it, you know?
Yeah.
we need to do a podcast on plays. Because I like plays.
Yeah, I wish plays were more accessible.
Dude, have you seen Les Mis on Broadway?
No. Is it a New York special or is it like a Chicago special?
The reason I had to think so long is because I went to see it, and I was going to like try to get student tickets, and they were sold out.
So, do you like the story of Les Mis?
Yeah, I mean, it's not as exciting for me, but it's like I could see it seeing it in person, like the music just being glorious.
I love Les Mis, like the whole story of like the tortured hero. And
yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful story.
Yeah, the story's great, and Broadway, man, it was so good. Because when I went into it, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like this because the Anne Hathaway and Hugh Jackman or Les Mis had just come out, the movie.
Yeah,
I despise that movie.
I think that might be why I'm not crazy about it, because that's the only thing I've ever seen.
Well,
what about the other one?
And that was just a long movie.
Liam Neeson?
Yeah. Liam Neeson.
No, I like that because it's a.
I did too. I watched that. Didn't we watch that together in high school?
Yeah, I think we watched it in like 10th grade.
Yeah.
I made a rap about Les Mis in 10th grade, and
that's
like
awesome.
That is the one thing that I wish I had somewhere, but so I edited together.
You made the rap, and I made a CD of. Remember the CD I brought to class?
That was different. I did the rap by myself. You, Mike, and somebody else did another one, right?
Yeah, we did a CD of.
But I wasn't on that.
We had a whole CD of music's songs or whatever that correlated with the scenes and the mic.
Yeah.
No, I don't think. No, it was just me.
Yeah,
but
I think
me,
that was
Mike,
an individual project.
And I think it was Claire that we did that was a different class. We did the Vietnam and.
Oh, that was I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
I guess this just goes to show that we're never gonna run out of things to talk about.
Yeah, there's too many things to talk about. That's why. Okay, that's all.
We didn't talk a lot about how, like, what we can get out of movies. Like, I think that's kind of in the undercurrent of what we talked about. But like, I think that's the thing to take away from this is even if all you get out of movies is like sitting around with your friends and having good conversations about them, then I think that's enough. Like,
oh yeah,
movies are inspirational. They're entertaining. Like, movies are a good thing.
Yeah.
So this was a fun episode, and I'm really excited about this D20 thing because, like, the funny thing is, like, before we rolled the dice, we didn't know we were going to be talking about it, and we could have landed on anything, and that's just cool that we had this really cool conversation about just kind of a random topic.
I'm so glad we got it out of the way first because, like, that would have been on the back of my mind forever. Like, oh, let's just talk.
Let's not even talk about the list because there are a lot of things on that list that are on the back of my mind.
I feel like we would have hurried along some things just to get to the number 14. But I'm glad we got to it first because that's the biggest, probably one of my favorite topics. All
right. So with all that said, then I guess we'll see you guys next week.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Godspeed and good conversations.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Young Adult's Guide to Planet Earth. We hope you enjoyed the conversation.
If you want to join the conversation, make sure to join us on Twitter at Young Adult Guide and Instagram at Young Adults Guide.
And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell if you want to be notified. Like, comment, and join the conversation.
Talk to you next week.